Duff Killigan sailed across the room and crashed into the display of professional-grade golfing equipment. He groaned as he felt pain radiate up his spine and into his brain. "Ah, now this is more like it," said the woman, who had just taken Kim Possible's place. She strode over around the ballroom, twirling the 5-iron that she had taken from Killigan. She smirked at the bound from Leopold's Forest. A beautiful sunset, a cute guy bound and gagged to a chair, and someone's about to die. She turned to Duff, who was hauling himself into a sitting position. "It's you, by the way, Duffy, old boy." "All right, Lassie. I dunna know who you were or how you managed to trade places with Kim Possible," he said, getting to his feet, "but I'm gonna put you in a whole new world of hurt." He grabbed a pair of golf clubs from the pile around him and twirled them around menacingly. The woman's grin widened as she spun her own golf club in response. She dashed for it across the room. She used the club as if she were a pole vaulter, and into the air, Duff had held up the clubs in front of him in a defensive position, ready for the impact. Which it didn't come. Duff blinked and lowered the clubs. The 5-irons were laying on the floor. Duff glanced upwards and his eyes widened in shock. Somehow the woman was hanging from the ceiling. Her fingers sunk deeply into the tile. She gave Duff a madness-tinged smile and dropped down onto him, slamming a heel into his face. Blood gushed from the golfer's nose as they crashed into the floor. The woman kicked off of Duff's face, backflipped into a standing position, in landing with the tone of their hand on her hip and the other on near her face. The fingertips of her gloves were ripped and torn. "Well, damn," she said. "I'm gonna need new gloves now. Well, Kimmy's gonna need new gloves." Killigan looked up at her. "I'm gonna feed your spleen to weasels," he snorted through the clogged nostrils. The woman's vile smile vanished, replaced with a cold stare. She dashed up to Killigan and at the speed and no human should have been able to reach, and kicked him hard in the face again. Killigan flew into the air, somersaulted, and landed on his back. The woman stood over him and placed one foot in his chest. She leaned over, resting her elbow on her knee, and then applied the pressure. Duff tried to howl in pain as his ribs protest, but the air was still being forced from his lungs. His hands scrabbled onto something to which he has attacked his tormentor. "You know," the woman said casually, "you really need to work on how to talk to a girl. Spleen feeling is a lousy way to start a conversation." Keeping her foot on Killigan's chest, she leaned over and picked up a putter that was just lying just out of Killigan's grasp. She held it up for a moment and then smashed it down on Killigan's fingers. The Scotsman gasped from the internal shock and repeated it several times as the woman turned his hand into a broken, mangled mass of flesh and bone. She then looked back up at her foot off of Killigan, hauled him up, and laid him across the chest. "You're a devil yourself," Killigan said faintly. The woman laughed. "Not yet, but it's not a bad idea." She brandished the putter. "But first, you see this putter?" Killigan nodded frantically, staring at the woman's purple eyes. The purple eyes which now swore that he could see the madness play. Her brow curled down into a deep frown, while her lips turned into another demented smile. Her eyes wandered lovingly over the titanium stunning shaft of the club. "It's a lovely little club. Smooth, firm, rigid, and I think it's going to be best friends with your spleen," she finished. Killigan's eyes widened as he raised his hands to fend her off. "Kim!" Ron Stoppable screamed, as he finally made it through the rubble, blocking the main entrance to the ballroom. Killigan decided to the hell with the macho and started screaming for help. "Laddie, get this devilish oaf off me. She's gonna turn me into a golf bag with only one slot," he cried. "A golf bag slot with only one? Ew!" Ron said, cringing. "Kim, you aren't seriously considering O." The O was caused by the woman who had turned around, and Ron found himself confronted with the face that he and Kim had seen on the communicator. She grinned and acted the way cats grin at the small defenseless animal that was about to become lunch. "Sorry, Ronnie. Like I said, Kimmy can't talk right now. I'm in the house, and if you turn around and leave right now, I might leave major parts of the anatomy intact for Kimmy to play with later." Behind her, Killigan made a frantic no-no motions with his hands. Ron swallowed and walked forward. "Okay, whoever you are," Ron said, trying to keep his voice up from cracking a panic. "Just put Killigan down and let's talk about this. There is a bunch of police out there and the media, and I am sure you don't want to do anything that will result in you being arrested, right?" The woman laughed again. "Oh, please. Do you really think those idiots out there could take the Kimmy, much less me, if either of us didn't want to go?" No, now that I think about it. No, I don't really think they would, but come on, why kill him? I mean, I'm sure he'd agree that you won, right?" Ron then raised the eyebrows in Killigan's direction. The golfer began nodding his head frantically. Aye, you've beaten me fair and square. I give up," Killigan said. "You can have the forest back." The woman had curled her lip up in perplexed expression as she turned her attention back to Killigan. "What the hell would I want him for? Besides beating the hell out of you and then removing your lungs out for your nostrils will be loads more fun." "Come on," Ron said, coming closer. "If you kill him, then you'll have to fight your way through the cops. And what then? Running from state to state with the cops chasing you? And then when Kim gets back, you know that she's not going to be happy, and you'll probably end up turning herself in. Yeep!" Ron then leaped back as the woman turned back to her, still not releasing her grip on Killigan. She had an annoyed expression on her face and glared at Ron. "I really hated it when you make sense," she said. She turned her back towards Killigan and quickly thrust her head into his. Killigan let out a squeak and passed out. The woman let him drop to the floor and turned her to full attention towards Ron. "Oh God, please don't let me wet my pants," Ron fought. Okay, great," he began. Thank you." The woman leaned forward and cast her gaze up and down, causing Ron to begin shifting uncomfortably and accurately while aware of the pressure in his bladder. "Yeah," the woman said, standing back up. "I guess I can see what Kimmy sees in you. You aren't really entirely uncute, but definitely not my type. Okay, then I'm gonna head out. See you later." She started to walk out to one large windows out of the golf course. Ron blinked and followed her. Out where? We need to get back. Kim will be..." The woman's head then snapped up, her bloodshot hair bobbing as she did so. Her expression could have killed a bird at 15 paces. Rule 1, Ronnie, don't you ever try to tell me what to do. You didn't ask me to not kill you. Ron snapped his mouth shut and gulped. The two of them just looked at each other, and for a few moments, then she smiled brightly. Good boy. Boy wonder, you're learning. Now I'm going to head out for a while, and it's because you learned so well, I will try not to cause any more bar fights. Just so you don't have to listen to Kimmy whine about it. I'm sure she spends most of today freaking out about it. Thank you, Ron said. One thing, please? The woman then quirked an eyebrow. Yes? Could you not leave her in a steady motel this time? She smirked. We'll see. You're lucky I like you. Ciao. With that, she crashed through the window. Ron then dashed through the window and watched as she yanked the golfer out of the cart and drove over to the horizon. Oh boy, Ron said, as he pulled out his cell phone and dialed the cops to come in for the cleanup. The woman who used to be Kim Possible merely walked along the streets of Pebble Beach, enjoying the novelty of being in town. A ton of trees and no sidewalks. The nearby ocean roared as the waves were crashing down the rocks that gave Pebble Beach its name. It was a good day, despite the fact that Ronnie had stopped her from offing Killigan. Little Miss Prissy Pants had been knocked out, presumably by the junk that had been found on top of her, when she awoken, and then, the freedom. The freedom to go where she wanted and what she wanted to do, nor did she have any answer to doing anyone. Kimmy always said that she was a girl that would do anything, and with the crock that was, while Kimmy claimed that she would do anything, she rarely did, and sometimes she refused to let herself do things that would have been much more satisfying than the economic situation all around. Oh, and if Ronnie knew things about Kimmy after it felt the adrenaline rush from the graduation fiasco wore off. Just for the hell of it, the woman then took a few running steps and turned to a series of cartwheels down the road. She could access Kim's memories up to the point where a fist of change had happened, so she knew that she was able to quite do some things that Kimmy couldn't. She was faster, stronger, and more agile. In short, she could easily take Kimmy in a fair fight. A laugh escaped her lips as she fought through across her mind that it would be a fight fair. She rolled out her latest cartwheel, hands spun to a forward flip, and landed back on her feet. Continuing her walk afterwards, in a few minutes, the trees began to bore her. Good God, this was a boring place. Nothing but trees and golf courses, and a few houses were no fun at all. Although she was kind of hungry, and what kind of luck, there was a deli up ahead on the road. She handed out to reach the pocket of Kim's pants and pulled out her wallet, checking the funds. Ronnie did have a point. The police were definitely no fun at all, and having to deal with them just because she did not have enough for a sandwich. There were a few bills in there. She dashed through across the road up the steps leading to the deli. She bound to see a counter beginning to ringing the bell that was on it. A few seconds later, a bored-looking girl in her mid-20s showed up. "Yes, thank you for ensuring that the bell works," she said in a bored voice. "Can I help you?" "Yeah, give me a big damn sandwich," the woman said. The counter girl quirked an eyebrow. "Anything in particular do you want, on this damn big sandwich?" Roast beef as rare as you can get it. I want to taste the blood when I bite into it. Right one, vampire special, the girl said. She grabbed the deli roll and began slicing it open. "Cheese or anything?" "Cheddar," the woman replied. "And go ahead and put everything on it. And a large diet soda." "All right for here?" "Sure." "Okay, grab a seat. I'll call your name when it's ready." "Name?" The woman then paused. Then there was something that she had forgotten to deal with. The counter girl looked up at her. "Yeah, a name. You know the whole thing with the parents gave you from when you were born?" A woman then frowned her eyebrow and felt the urge to leap across the counter and feed the counter girl's face into a meat slicer, turning into paper shreds. Then she remembered that she would also call the attention of Johnny Q. Lawman and assisted the urge with a considerable regret. And, she said, it was Kimmy's middle name, and it would do for now until it got sounded a bit better. The counter girl nodded and went to work on constructing the sandwich. Anne went to the table and sat down for a few moments. Before ringing the communicator, her lips and tapping the button to record a message. "Hey, Kimmy. Just thought I'd something you should know. I need a name. A good name that is not idiotic. A different name that is a nihilist crap. I want my own name. Now!" She turned off the record feature and spent a few minutes playing around with the various features in the communicator, finally settling in on the Tetris while she waited for the sandwich. Kim's eyes opened and she realized she was on the floor of the bathroom. She sat up and shook her head a few times just to clear it. When the dizziness subsided, her eyes snapped open. "Oh, crap! It happened again!" The communicator was on her wrist and was beeping instantly. She brought it up and clicked it on. "Wade?" she asked, a little uncertainty. "Kim," Wade said, appearing on the screen. "Where were you? Are you all right?" I'm not sure. I'm in a bathroom somewhere. Looks like a restaurant bathroom. Though, give me a second. I'm going to take a look outside and get back to you." As Kim got to her feet, pulling off her gloves as she did so, she noticed that the seams of her fingertips were split, as if something had slipped them open. She had stuffed the gloves into a holster and strapped onto her leg, right next to the grapple gun, and washed her hands in the sink, splashing some water in her face to get rid of any remaining disorientation. She dried her hands and face and opened the door, revealing a hallway leading to the deli counter. She sighed herself in relief at knowing that it was a public place, rather than somebody's residence. She then straightened up and walked to the main part of the deli. A half-eaten roast beef sandwich was sitting on the table, and judging by the taste in her mouth, Kim was pretty sure it was hers. She then picked it up the basket with the soda cup, and then took them over to the trash can. She then walked up to the counter, and the girl behind her gave her an odd look, staring down at her clothes, and then back up. "Had to take my contacts out," Kim said. Nothing that the girl was looking at her eye color. They were itching like crazy. "How much do I owe you?" You already paid, the girl said suspiciously. Kim then blinked and quickly regained her composure. Alright, sorry, it's been one of those days, you know. Thanks for the sandwich. Yeah, the girl said slowly. Have a nice day. You too, Kim said, a little too brightly and quickly as she exited out of the deli. As soon as she was outside, she called for Wade. Wade, trace my position and tell Ron to pick me up. He's already on his way. It looks like your other self didn't go too far. What exactly happened? Kim asked. I remember confronting Killigan at the clubhouse. I shoved Ron out of the way, and then the wall fell on me, and that was it. Wade nodded. I hope you weren't too mad, but considering what happened last night, I thought it may be best if I had the communicator to record this mission, just in case. Normally I would be, Kim answered, but I think this is seriously a weird sitch, so I won't say anything. Wade nodded and punched a few keys, bringing up the recording. Kim watched listened as the other of herself appeared, threatened Killigan, listening to Ron, and drove out the window as the video played. She realized now that Wade and Ron had been so true. However, somehow she was changing into a different person when she was sleeping. Someone much more violent and much more dangerous. Someone who looked like to hurt people for fun. People who, if unchecked, would definitely kill someone at some point. Someone had to be stopped. Ron drove up in Kim's car as the video ended. Kim looked up and dashed over to him and got out and hugged her fiercely. She looked up at him. You're all right? I am changing, and I don't like her, she said. Ron nodded. Well, until we can find a cure, maybe we can reason with her, Ron replied. She listened to me about not hurting Killigan anymore, right? Kim nodded and broke the hug. Right, okay, no problem. We'll just wait for it to happen again, then you can... Kim's voice trailed off as she noticed a little icon on the communicator screen indicated that there was an audio file recorded. The two teen heroes then looked at each other for a moment, and then Kim hit the buttons that played the message back. Hey, Kimmy, just something I think you should know. I need a name. A good name. None of those idiotic different names, some initials crap. I want my own name. Now. She wants a name now? Kim asked quietly. Ron said, rubbing the back of his neck. Maybe we should let her choose her own name. She may not like the ones we came up with. Kim's expression hardened. That's fair enough, because I know she's not going to like a lot what I'm going to tell her. She activated the communicator and got Wade on again. Wade, do a search in Lowerton for the cheap basement apartments or empty townhouses or something. I need somewhere isolated and that we could secure up the Wazo. And then once you found the place and turn into a every freedom loving person's nightmare, cameras, motion detectors, everything, and then do some research on high tech, escape proof restraints. Okay, I could do that, Wade said. And why am I doing this? We're going to find some place that we can babysit the new member of the team, Ron, Kim said, sliding into the driver's seat of the car. Ron climbed into the passenger seat, and the two of them took off down the highway.